girls. Chillin' with the girls.
Hello. Good morning out there in virtual land. Welcome to another episode of Chillin' with the Girls.
Yes.
So tonight we are talking about time snatchers. In case you don't know what a time snatcher is, stay tuned to find out. This might just affect you. So stay tuned and find out what we're talking about. Time snatchers.
Yeah.
Right, Mel?
This is a good topic to discuss. And I just want to advise you out there in virtual land that you may want to get a paper and pencil to take some notes.
Yeah.
Because this is going to help you live your life more intentionally.
That's
and
good.
I like that. Intentional living.
Come on
That's
now.
what we're talking about.
So good. That's good.
So let me tell you a little bit about, let me tell you what time snatchers are. So I'm defining time snatchers. So it's anything that will steal your time away from your purpose, growth, your tasks, finishing your assignments, completing projects, accomplishing your goals, your visions, and God's plans for your life. And I have a scripture here that goes along with the definition. I think it's a perfect fit. And it's Psalms 90:12. And it reads, "Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom." Wow. So when you number your days, you have wisdom. You're wise when you learn how to take care of your time. So in our discussion tonight, I just want to throw out to you ladies, how does distractions and procrastination and misplaced priorities impact your personal and spiritual fulfillment or your spiritual life? Mom, I'm going to throw that out to you first.
Oh, I really think I am the queen of this topic because it impacts me so much.
Wow.
Okay.
And oh my goodness, I could just write a book on this because it's almost like every day. Because I'm retired, something you have nothing else to do.
Oh,
But
wow.
that can be so wrong because now what I do, you have to be strategic sometimes. But you know that you got to make a call, you got to do something where you get right on the edge of your next thing that you know you have to do. And then when I have this call, then or either somebody call me, most of the time I'll call them strategically. Then I let them know, I only got about 10 minutes, just a couple of minutes, because I got to do something else, which is true. And they respect what I have to do because it's important. They say, oh, all right. So, and they will honor that. But sometimes I fall into a trap myself. I sit down. I write my list. Today I wrote down 17 things I had to do.
Okay.
I did about 12 of them. I attacked about 12 of them. Now, and when I get up, I was up like 2 this morning, of course, but around 2. And I wrote down all of these things that I had to do, not in order, just wrote them down. And then after I did that, of course, bathe is at the top of the list. Then after I bathed and got dressed, then I started prioritizing. And I'm not gonna read them all to you, but I did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then I didn't. Then I went back and said, "Now this is first." Maybe like prayer, like breakfast, lunch. Really, I did a little studying too. That was at my top of the list. And I probably took maybe an hour just doing that. And I write down an approximate time it's going to take me to do it. Now, my news, for an example, I looked at news from 2 to 2:30 a.m. I did that. And I got a lot of good ideas from the news I looked at.
Well, Mom.
Yes.
I was just
She wanted to know how can it affect how it. What was the question again?
How can distractions and procrastination impact your personal and
Right.
spiritual
How
growth?
can that impact your personal and your spiritual
Yes.
life?
Okay.
Distractions and procrastination. How does that
Oh,
impact
procrastination.
your spiritual life?
Putting off. You never. It used to be a saying. You never put off tomorrow what you can do today.
Right.
Mhm.
So usually when you say, "Oh, I'll get to it tomorrow," you may forget it. Or get to it, 12 o'clock. You may forget it, and then it impacts me because sometimes I won't have time to do my studies like I want to do,
Mhm.
or my reading, or my writing. And usually when I'm doing this, it's for other people anyway. It sounds like selfish, mine. But usually, they're and also when their important things become your important thing. For an example, they know they got to get something done, and they wait till the last minute, and they come to you. I don't have gas in my car, and I guess can you go and do this? Can you do it? And then all of a sudden, it's my priority, and the things I have to do set aside, and usually they doing nothing but joking around or doing a puzzle or something. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
looking at something, and while you
That's terrible.
no, you didn't do this, and now it becomes my priority. But
That's
that's
terrible.
probably my fault. But usually when I let them have it on their own, is because I can help them. For an example, there was
Okay.
I was an individual had a report to do, and then they came to me. I was working then. They came to me in the evening. Said, this is due tomorrow. I got to get this done. Can you type this? I said, oh my goodness. I don't want people to fail.
Right.
So I stayed up all night long and did that
Mhm.
report. This sat down and joked and laughed and nodded off and took a nap and I'm just working. And so I said, look, when did you get this assignment? They say, oh, the first part of the year. They had like months and months to do. It became, and then they accused me, why don't you got this? And so
Okay.
the
So
next
what
time they came, my
so what
machine
you're saying is
malfunction and I
what you're
couldn't do
saying is what somebody else did, their procrastination or whatever, it fell on somebody else.
it. Yeah.
So it's not necessarily you were procrastinating or, your, misplaced priority. It was because as a result of somebody else.
Right.
So a lot of times if you are procrastinating or whatever, you may leave the burden on somebody else,
Right.
that already have their goals and priorities and stuff in order. So
You know
Tish, what
what?
about you?
Oh,
What was the question again?
So it says, how does distractions and procrastination and misplaced priorities impact your personal and spiritual fulfillment or your
Well,
spiritual?
it. I don't know what happened. Well, it impacts my money because if I really
Mm,
put time into what I need to put time like into my purpose, I
yeah,
can be ahead. And it also and it can like impact the spiritual growth. If you put off reading the Bible or something like that, that can impact you. That when you face a trial or something like that, and you haven't built yourself up spiritually because
yeah,
you're watching TV, because you're doing this, because you're out in the mall, and you do all everything except for what needs to be done, the important stuff. And so then
yeah,
when the trials come, you don't have anything to fight with. So
yeah.
it affects you in a great, and not me, but I'm saying, but the first one would be me. As far as like,
can I add
You
to
know
that,
what?
Tracy?
I was thinking about you get caught with your pants down because you know what I'm saying? Because if
Ready.
you don't have your stuff in order and in line or whatever, when those trials like you said, when those trials come, whatever, you'll be crying, you'll be at the
yeah,
altar, whatever. You don't have strength to fight. You don't know what to use to fight
yeah.
with. So
Can I say something, Melanie? Now Tish brought me an organizer on my desk. Now, when a bill comes, I know how to stand it up and put it in the back so I can see it. But when I'm busy doing something and I forget to look at it. But if you're late paying a bill, you pay a late fee. It's a fine, and well, God is merciful because
yeah.
that happened to me one time, and I had to double up. But another time, it happened not too long ago. I said, oh, let me see this. Oh my goodness. It was a brand new bill too. And I called the people. I said, she said, oh, tomorrow is the deadline to pay it. And I made the late fee was like a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's
20
what
or
you're
30, it was a
saying.
lot of money.
It affects your money. So,
Yeah.
Tawanda, what about you?
Yeah. So can you repeat the question? And I was like, no. So one thing is your cell phone, when you pick up your cell phone to do something, right? And all these messages and stuff, they distract you, and then you forget what you're even doing, so when you are distracted, when you procrastinate, that hurts you, that hurts your personal time. You lose track of your time, and that's not a good thing. And you lose track of your spirituality, as well. So yeah, I'm trying to remember that whole entire question. It's a long question, but it affects you in that way. And then a lot of times you're not ready when you are supposed to be ready, because you have given time to whatever you have given time to, and you have neglected what you were supposed to give time to.
Right.
And so when someone calls on you to do something, I'm not ready. I didn't read that scripture. I didn't pray today, and so that's how it affects you personally, and it affects you spiritually as well.
Yeah. Same way. This is good. This is really good. And we were talking. This is a good one. Ma, you want to take that one?
Oh, identifying the time. I can't read all of it.
Identifying the time snatchers and time thieves. Come on now.
How do we identify?
Yeah, in a way, like my phone rang yesterday, I can tell right away it was, and when these people call for you to get something or do something, you can't even get through because they just go on and on. It's hard, and you don't have to be rude. It's hard to break through to say that I'm not interested in that. If you talk about medical stuff.
How would you identify though? What are some things that are some like time snatchers and time thieves? So identify what are some time snatchers and time thieves in your life?
Name one. Name one or two.
People. And when they're not, you can identify through discernment if they're serious, if they're not. They just want to take you.
So Mom, name a time snatcher or a time thief.
Something like
name one
or something like that.
Name
like
one.
Media might be one or.
Guess what? News. The thing you can get hooked on stuff that's not a sin, but it's still bad, and it can affect your reaction, your response.
I've got to say
news, and that's a weakness because I like to know what's going on in the world, and I have to just put my phone away from me. It comes up on my phone because I don't have to look at TV, and it go on and on. So sometimes you may have to put your phone in another room, which I hate to do, because as soon as I hear the notification and all these people on programs, come on, I want you to get on my program. But that's a distraction, and that's how I just say, I don't have time for it. You don't want to say that.
Like Mom was saying, her phone. It's this lady I talked to, and we can't stop talking, because our conversation is so good, and we're so busy, we can't stay on the phone. So this is so funny, y'all. Just the other day, she's like, I know we're gonna talk. I know we're gonna talk long. She said, but we gotta go. So 1, 2, 3, hang up. Bye.
Who said that? You? Did you say that?
That's good.
No, ma'am, but the person on the other line. Because when we're talking, one conversation comes up, another conversation comes up, another conversation. And she was like, we gotta go. I know we gotta go because I'm busy and you're busy. And we just keep saying, okay, we're gonna go. She said, we're gonna go. 1, 2, 3, hang up. Bye.
So and that's funny. So look, and another thing could be like a time thief or a time snatcher could be fear and laziness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that takes your time when you're lazy because you could
Yeah.
be doing so much stuff. You could be so productive. Like I was talking to somebody. It's like I need to do this, and this. So I got to get out the bed. Like I can't come home and go to bed anymore. I got to come home, go upstairs, and be like you said earlier, Mel. We got to be intentional. But it was one scripture I wanted to read, Ephesians the 5th chapter, and is verses 15 through 16. It says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil." So we have to make the most of every opportunity that we have.
Oh,
Right.
We can't afford to waste time.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. And you know something else. What I'm learning is when I have a job to do it right away, because you never know what's going to happen in your body.
Yeah.
You know, you never know when you're going to get sick. You never know when you just never know. So do it right away. So if you do get sick and it's not just sitting there, you know, so do it right away. Do it as soon as you have that assignment. Do it as soon as you get it, you know.
I have an example of a time snatching, and I didn't think it was, but at the job, I forgot my passcode for my voicemail.
Wow.
And I was trying to figure out, I was putting all these codes in, whatever. I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down or put it somewhere in a safe place or whatever. And I didn't use the one, that I usually use, whatever. But I wasted like,
wow,
it's embarrassing. Like 2 days. 2 days because, and I had like 16 voicemail messages on my phone that I could not retrieve. And at the job, you can't just reset your voicemail. You have to send an order, a telephone order to somebody, and then they got to send it to somebody else, and then they got to process it. So it took like 2 more days after that. So I didn't get a whole lot of messages, whatever, because I forgot. I didn't remember. So another time snatcher is forgetting. So you got to do things to remind yourself.
Right.
Okay. Like somebody have like a calendar or something like that. Put a notification on your phone. Even like mine was saying, watching news. You can set a timer on your phone and say, you know what, I'm just going to watch news for a half an hour, and that's it. You know what I mean? Right. Because we can get so engrossed and involved and into news and stuff. And you're like, oh my God. Then before you know it, 2 hours have gone by.
Yeah. And it's the same thing over and over again. If you watch it, they talk about the same thing
over and over again. Yes.
Can I say something, please? At my age, I forget. Keys, different. But you know what? If we put things the same place every time,
give it a home.
That will save your time so much. Put it in and when something comes in my mind, like I get up, paper and pencil, right on my bed, write it down.
That's so important.
When I go upstairs and I come back and do it. No, you won't. You go upstairs and you say, wait a minute, you gotta go back, write it down, especially something important. Write it down.
Yeah. So I was just thinking that could also be unorganization. Organized. Yes. So you forget. Yeah. If you would have written it down like on a calendar, organized, then you wouldn't have forgotten the number. You wouldn't forget what you need to do. What I try to do, I don't do it now, but I need to get back to it. I used to write down what I wanted to do and give everything an hour a day. All of my activities, give this an hour a day, give that an hour a day, give this an hour. Like stuff that I wanted to learn, stuff that, that was important to me. I would give it 1 hour a day. I need to get back to it. Organization. If you don't do it, it's a time snatcher,
What I was saying, if when you go up the steps and you just get a good idea. But see, with my organization, which I need a lot of help, I have calendars on my wall. That you erase the board, and I put up the every month. Every month, I got the dates up there, and I can erase it and change it. And beside it, I got And then when Dr. Dan, he have his appointments with the eyes to see the little card, I thumb tap it, to the wall.
Okay.
That I got that on the wall. Then I got numbers up here. So I got about 2 of those different types of board, and I mounted them on my wall because
Yeah.
we need help. We
That's
need help.
Right. Yeah.
And by you saying that, we're going to talk about what about the importance? Because one, we didn't get to it. I was trying to hurry up and say it, but the other one was it was so good. Over commitments.
Oh,
Over commit yourself. That could be a time snatcher, but we got to get off of that one. Let's go to the other one. And it's the importance of valuing your time and the hidden cost of wasted time.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And it affects your relationships, your spiritual growth, achieving your goals. And you don't even understand how important it is to value your time, to manage your time. One scripture says, James, the 4th chapter and the 14th verse says, why? You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes.
Yes, absolutely. And then we're talking about daily distractions. Value your time. I'm talking about your devices, daily distractions. You know what I'm saying? And you get so tied up in YouTube, so tied up in social media. Those are daily distractions, and then it's like, and then you get so many notifications that just ting and ping in your phone. Those are daily distractions, and when we fall down what they call a rabbit hole and you can't get back out, turn it off. I was just talking to somebody and they were saying how they would download a game in their phone and then they would get so engrossed in that game, like, and then after a while they would uninstall it and then install another game. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I miss them. I miss that game.
Time.
I miss that game that I had, but I I deleted all my games and I miss them. I do, but it's like I had to, because one thing, and we're talking about today about time management, but it's really important to focus on the path that God has for our life. Make sure we're walking in purpose. So when you're sitting up here and you don't know how to manage your time, you're not walking in purpose, because how are you working? How are you going to school? Because you got all this. And the thing about it, guess what else is a time waste? Sports and sitcoms and binge watching.
Oh, you talking about watching sports
for hours.
Well, what's binge watching? You say binge
watching is the worst. Because I'm gonna tell you what binge watching is.
Episode after.
Now it's like back in the day, TV came on, so you watched that show and you couldn't watch the other one until the next week. But now you can watch it back to back. You're sitting there for hours because you don't want to get up, because it's like, okay, what's going to happen on the next episode? What's going to happen? And that's like a time bandit. Yeah. And so while you're doing that, you could be doing schoolwork or something. Like, it's like being productive. And a lot of stuff out here now, it causes us not to be productive. And we're trying to figure out why we ain't no money. Why are we going to do this? Why are we going to do that? Because you're wasting your time on empty stuff. It's vain, empty stuff.
That's why I don't like series. I don't like anything that's a series. I will not. I will not get into a series.
How about this? When you're doing something and these pop-ups, oh, I want to get that, I want to buy that. Some people like junkies and buying stuff, and trucks are coming all the time, getting packages, waste of time, waste of money, and then you don't need it and you don't use it and you're going to throw it away.
That's because whatever you have visited, it's going to pop up, even on your Word documents now. It pops up even on your Word documents because you visited that pair of shoes. So she wants this pair of shoes. She might want this pair of shoes. It just pops up wherever you are, wherever you're doing on your device. So
you know what I was thinking, because I feel it. I'm always just thinking about outside the box and stuff. But watching series and all that kind of stuff, I do like to do that. I think if you were intentional. So like if you are, taking a break or whatever, or relaxing, and you're just intentional, and like, I'm just going to watch these shows, maybe the next 3 episodes or something, and then I'm going to do this. The main thing is to have a goal set, and don't let time, and things just fly by. Don't just be like, oh, just whatever happens, whatever happens or whatever. But I think it can be okay to binge watch at times, if you are intentional, if you
Discipline.
set, yeah, if you like, okay, I'm just gonna watch this, and then after this, I'm gonna do this or whatever. So sometimes it's okay, but I think the main word is for tonight is intentional.
But can I say something?
So
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Tish. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, when you say binge watch, that's not watching one show and then not binge
I know.
watch.
I said even three shows, but just say, I'm gonna just watch these 3 shows,
But
and
how
then
long
after
is one
that,
show, Tish?
3
How long
hours,
is it?
1 hour. So that's 3
So
hours.
that's 3
that's
hours.
like a movie. That's like watching a movie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So yeah. So
Before
I'll
you
watch
answer,
a
we
movie before I
got
watch a series.
we got a comment from Bren. Hey, Bren, our sisters.
Hi, Brian.
First of all, y'all look so beautiful. This is so good and important. A good time snatcher. Don't make your procrastination my emergency.
That's what I wanted to say, Brenda.
Don't allow people to control your time. Let me tell you
Yes.
something.
Right.
I start telling people when I'm on vacation because they're gonna give me their agenda.
Right.
They were like, they were like, "Are you going to be? Are you at work today?" And I'm like, "I don't want to answer." Because
Yes.
what can you do? Da 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 da. So
You know
And don't
what?
let them intimidate you.
that's right.
Don't let them intimidate you to do their work. Well, you don't have nothing to do. Well, you're not going to intimidate me to do your work.
Let me
You do
tell
your
you.
own work.
Let me tell you. When I learned this, when you have a time like an hour to rest, but you've been up all these hours, and they call you, say, "What you doing?" And I used to say, "Oh, I'm not doing this resting." Oh, but when you're resting on your calendar, you are not doing any. It's not that you're doing nothing. You are doing something.
Resting.
Right.
Are you busy? Yes, you're busy resting.
Right.
That's
You
right.
are busy.
But
And
don't
that's
tell
what
them
I'm
no, I'm
telling
not doing nothing. Tell them
No,
I'm not
that's-
available.
That's
Right.
right.
And don't tell them you're busy resting. Don't tell them that either.
But
No, of course not.
don't answer the
No.
phone. You just don't have to answer the phone.
But,
all the
but
time.
it may be important.
But it may not.
Let me just tell on myself. The only way I can't answer my phone when it rings is to put it on do not disturb. That's if my phone rings,
Ooh.
you better know I'm answering it.
I
Because
don't even
if
know
I
what
hear
that
it ring,
is. I never
what do you have to
used that.
disturb?
Well,
I'll
first
put
What
my
happens
phone
when
on
you put it on do not disturb?
I'm
Say it again, Mel.
What happens when you put it on do not disturb?
You don't get notifications. You don't get phone
Text.
calls.
Really?
You
It
don't get
doesn't ring?
anything. It doesn't ring.
when the person
It
on the
won't
other
ring.
end, they kind of really frustrated and like, what in the world? Answer the phone. But I'm like, my brother is Wendell, right? We don't like the noise of the phone ringing. We keep our phone on mute. If I'm not looking down at my phone if somebody's calling me, I'm not going to hear it. If I don't have my Apple Watch on, look, Tuesday, I was so focused. I missed everybody's phone call and text because I was in my office all day long. I left my watch on the charger downstairs. I didn't mean to. I was just busy. I came upstairs 3:00 and didn't go back down until like lunch later in the afternoon. I got all my stuff done though, but I didn't have my phone. I didn't mean to leave it. I just came upstairs and just got, focused on what I was doing. And people were like texting me and calling me. And I'm like, well.
But I forget to take it off mute. I put on mute if I'm praying or in class or something. And I forget. And I'd be so sorry. I hear the vibe. I see it vibrate sometimes. Now today, right now, I don't know where it is. I lost my phone somewhere.
Monday, my phone was on do not disturb all day long. I couldn't get calls from anybody, and I was getting work done. So I had to put my phone. I had to focus and to get work done. I have orders that people put in. I got to get people their orders.
Get them that
So I had to put my phone on do not disturb so I can get those orders. in.
And you know what? Some jobs like Amazon or whatever, they don't even allow you to bring your phone there. So if you are working, you know, that makes sense, Wanda. Put it in the locker, put it somewhere, you know, like you said, do not disturb, whatever, you know, move it away from you, whatever. But I'm not there yet. So
Mel, how do you reclaim your time for God's purpose?
Oh, like you just have to be intentional. You have to tell, you know, people that, you know, trying to disrupt your time, I'm not available. Like Tawana said, put your do not disturb on, whatever. You have to set a schedule. So I had to, with my husband, I had to set a time for us to, you know, intentionally have, you know, Bible study and prayer. Even though we pray, you know, off and on, you know, throughout, you know, every day or whatever. But I had to set some time aside just for us to read the word, pray, you know, fellowship and stuff like that with God. And it was a challenge. It's a challenge because you actually have to cut things off. Like, okay, I'm not doing this at this time or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, stop things early to be intentional to get your time back, you know, and then you know yourself, like if you're an early person or whatever, you get up usually at 6 o'clock. You may have to set your time 2 hours early at 4 or 4:30, you know, to do something earlier. So I think that's one example you can use to reclaim your time.
Can I say a scripture that goes with that? Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And then my teacher taught me back in the late 40s, like 1940, 1950, saying there is a time and a place for everything and everything in its place. And then you find that scripture where that woman lost her precious pearls or something. And what did she do? To sweep her house clean.
Yeah.
Now, the subject wasn't to clean up your house, but that's an indication that is a lot of clutter when you can't find a lot of stuff. You know, but if you have a place for everything and everything in its place, and when I was working, we had time management, and they had like 3 sections. When junk mail comes in, you know, you divide it right then and there. Don't wait. You have junk mail, the stuff that's due next week, stuff that's due today. You put in those piles. Junk mail is trash. What you do next week, you file. And what you done, you do it right now. And it does make your life easy.
So we're talking about reclaiming your time for God's purpose too.
Oh my goodness.
Seeking first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, like putting God first.
Oh yeah.
So that's
when you do that, Tish, when you do that, the whole day goes smooth.
Yeah.
I found that the day goes smooth. And then you have it, you know, you do what you have to do. You put that prayer through. Sometimes you get up praying when you get up, but you in that mindset. You know what I'm saying? You even dream about it. Really, you dream of church. I dream about services, and then you put in first in your prayer. Then you write down. I wrote down today the time I will have to read. I have to read like 3 different purposes. You put that down. And you stay focused on that. And you got your notebook, carry your notebook in your past. And when you go even to the car shop, I was there 6.5 hours last week before that. Guess what? I wasn't bored because I had 2 bags.
Everybody can't do that, Mom. You're tired, so you have time to just sit there for 6 hours.
No, I didn't.
I wouldn't have been bored, but I wasn't bored, I would have been upset.
I was working. I would have
been highly upset having to be.
I was working. No, you being catchy with working.
But
you in the bank line, in the hospital visits,
but you
in
know,
the doctor's office.
But, and you were talking about clutter, and we were talking about managing our time. You know, you will be so successful and more
Yeah.
productive if
Yeah.
you had a clean house. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if you were organized, if everything was in
Yes.
place, because do you know how many hours and minutes, I'm gonna say hours, it takes to look for something that's
Yeah.
lost? And if you put everything in its own place, you know, and so here we're talking about prioritizing our time. We know lining it up with God's kingdom. So first of
Yeah.
all, we need to go to God and ask Him, like I always go to Him. I'm like, what did you create me to be? How do I look to you? What should I be doing? And if you get that answer, what you should be doing, then everything else should take back seat to
Yeah.
what God
Yeah.
told you to do, or what God put in you, or what you're
Yeah.
purposed to do.
And
Everything
then you waste money because you can't find something you really need. You go store and buy it again.
Again, and then you find it the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
But one thing too, when you reclaim your time for God's purpose, you get up earlier than you normally do,
Yeah.
you know, and you give God some time then, or you may go to bed later than you normally do and give God some time then, you know.
Yeah.
So you're reclaiming your time for God's purpose, you know.
And you know,
That time.
I was thinking about something else with reclaiming your time. Because I like, if I have a question about something, if I don't understand something or whatever, I may not ask that question right away. I may just do research. I'll do research and start digging and looking in the Bible or looking online or whatever. And then I may go to the pastor or somebody else and ask them, you know, the question that I have or whatever. I try to come with a solution.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I
Right.
do that. I do that at my job too. You know, like sometimes if there's a problem or an issue or something, I would think about the problems. Like, let me do some research. I know Tawanda's like that. Let me
Mm-hmm.
figure
Yes.
out. Let me figure out how I can fix this. I'll go on
Mhm.
YouTube or whatever, and then I may not necessarily try to fix it. I may ask somebody else first,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, 9 times out of 10, they may say the same thing that you know I would reach the answer, whatever. But that's a way you can reclaim your time too, because you already come with answers. You already come with solutions to the problems. You know what I mean? And not just waiting around for somebody to solve your problem.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just coming to
Exactly.
them like, well, let
That's
me just pray to hear from God. Let me just pray to get a word. Well, they having revival next month, so let me just wait until you
oh
know
no.
the speaker come or
Wow.
whatever.
Right.
Melanie, a lot of times I used to go to the pastor. I want to do something. I write down the solution already. And by the time they say, well, I have to think, I said, but how about this? You
Mm-hmm.
think this might work? You already got it.
Yeah.
But that's good. Oh, go right ahead with it, Sister Farmer.
Yeah.
Ah,
You already got it written down.
Exactly.
We got to take care of
Exactly.
our time.
So how do y'all guard your time on a real note? And be you. How do you guard your time? Mom, how do you guard your time?
Now, I already told y'all one of the things I do. Now, you know our prayer is 12 o'clock. So if they calling me, and I say, you know, it's almost prayer. And also, when I schedule something, I schedule around the prayer time most of the
So that's
time.
how you guard your time. You schedule
Yeah,
something close to
and they know it's
prayer.
12 to 1 is my prayer
Right.
time. And everybody
Okay.
respects them. They respect my prayer more than my reading time. When we say prayer, that's a biggie.
So that's how
This
you
is
guard your time. Okay, cool.
something like that.
So,
Yeah.
Tawanda, how do you guard your time?
I tell myself no. because of the time snatchers. You know what I'm saying? And I have to tell myself no. I really do love to do crossword puzzles. You know, I love game shows. I love games. And it's like, y'all, I found Family Feud on the computer. It was a bad thing. So I just tell myself, Wanda, you will not play Family Feud today. You will not play, you know what I'm saying? So I have
Yeah.
to tell myself no about certain things.
So you
And
guard
that's
your
how I
time.
guard my time.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool. So Mel, how do you guard your
Yeah.
time?
I was just thinking about putting things in their prospective places.
Yeah.
You know, like if you have like goals and things, you will put down so you have like the big goal, and then you have like the smaller goals. What are they called? Like
Oh, long
what's the
term and short
terminology
term.
for it?
Yeah,
Something
Long-term and
like that.
short-term?
But you have like even smaller. So you have like a big goal, and then you have smaller things that you can do, to reach that goal or whatever. And so if you have your goals and stuff in place and prioritize, you will know, what deserves more of your time. So if this is the first thing that's on your goal that you're looking to reach or whatever, was like, okay, well, I can do this other thing later. I need to focus on this right
so
now.
you
You know
like
what I mean?
by
So focus, yeah.
prioritizing.
How about this, Tish, Melanie? How about you have a big project and you break it up into small pieces?
Right. That's what I was talking
You
about.
have to do it
Yes,
all at
ma'am.
one time.
Yeah.
And then and how about delegate? People that's responsible. If you delegate to wrong people, that waste your time too. You end up doing
Yeah,
your
it
job
does.
and their job
Time
too.
That's why I was
snatcher.
like, I don't know about that.
I was like,
Yeah,
but when you delegate, you got to get people, you got to trust them to do it. You can't take it back from them. When you delegate, the definition of delegating is, I want you to do this, and then that's it. You don't take it from them and tell them how to do it. When you delegate something to somebody, you leave it in their hands because they're capable of doing it, right?
Well,
Hopefully.
I think when I delegate, maybe I do it wrong. When I delegate, I don't what do you call it? I don't micromanage,
oh
but
yeah.
I try to make sure it's done the right way though. So that may take some time to make sure it's done properly.
So I have a question.
And I may have to look
Is it
over it and make sure it's done right. But if I would do it myself, I know it'd be done
so
right.
that's what I'm saying.
So
Is it the right way or your way? Because some people, you know what I'm saying, it's the way you do it is not necessarily right or wrong. But when we give something, and that's what I have problems with. When I give
yeah.
stuff to people, it's not necessarily the wrong way, but it's not
Yeah.
my way. And so
And
then
then
I'm looking over it and trying to fix it into what I wanted. So my thing is, if you give somebody something to do, they got to do it their own way, as long as it works.
I
I'm
was going to
learning.
say, is
I'm
you have to
learning.
look at the results. Are
Yeah.
you getting positive results? Are you
Right.
getting the results that you
Yeah.
want? Because there are so many ways to do something
Yeah.
and you get the result, the same result. I come up with the same, so like you said, you have to let somebody do something the way they do it,
Yeah.
and as long as you're getting good results,
Right.
that's a good thing,
Okay.
Yeah,
because
Believe me,
y'all pray
it,
for me about that. I'm not there
it
yet.
depends, lady.
Pray
It
for me.
depends. If you're in an organization and you have a way to do things, and if they want to do it their way, and you got somebody under you, and they're gonna do it their way, no, you're gonna have to sign, or your boss gonna have to sign off on it. And if it's messed up, that gonna come back on you. See
But
what I'm
we're not
saying, Melanie?
we're saying, if I'm not going to delegate something to somebody who can't do it, who's not capable.
Okay.
If I'm gonna delegate something to you to do something that I'm gonna do, you're capable of doing it. And so we have the tendency of saying, like, it ain't wrong, but it ain't my way. And so my way is the right way because it's the way I do it. But I'm saying we gotta trust those people. They're capable of doing it. I'm not saying they don't know how to do it and they're gonna mess it up. I'm saying people, they know how to do it and they're
Okay.
going to do it their way, and you're going to still get good results. Go ahead.
Okay.
hopefully you won't delegate something to somebody who's not capable of
Right.
doing what you want them to do.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you wouldn't do that,
No, you wouldn't.
But sometimes they're in that position, they're supposed to know. But you have to be like taking them from.
But you still know people. You know what they're capable
exactly.
of. You still know what they're capable of.
Yeah, I mean, what I would do, I told y'all gotta pray for me. So what I would do is I would delegate something to someone where it really don't matter, if the outcome really doesn't matter or whatever. I'm like, I will feel comfortable with whatever the result is. It's not something where I'm like, oh no, I have to make sure this is like this. You know what I mean? It's something that it's flexibility there. that's when I would, delegate. Yeah, I told y'all got to pray for
We
me.
gotta pray for everybody on this.
But like Tish was telling us, somebody told her, nobody is you.
Right.
So you should not expect
Exactly.
somebody to do something the way you would do it, because nobody is you.
Right. And they're not
Right?
thinking like me. They're not right. They're not thinking like me. They're not me.
Right.
And that was
Right.
so good.
Yeah. So they're not gonna do it the way I would do it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
as long as you're getting results.
Okay, y'all have the paperwork now. Use it. Real fast. Practical strategies to combat time snatchers. Tawanda, you can take that.
Oh.
Practical strategies to combat time snatchers.
Yep.
So one thing is you want to provide actionable tips. You want to provide tips, to protect your time from being stolen. You want to protect your time from being stolen.
Yeah.
You want to have time to evaluate things.
That's good.
So practical strategies, to combat time snatchers. So that's some ways, some strategies. Yeah.
And another one was saying this was and still is probably learn to say no to overcommitment. And it's like, and I have a lot of stuff to do. Oh my goodness. And I'm like, and then the stress and the pressure, and I got deadlines, and I got to get this done and got to get that done and that done. Not only work, but period. Like I'm doing all kinds of stuff. And it's like, now I got to get this flyer done for this anniversary service or for this party or all that kind of stuff. And then I'm just so super duper stressed, right?
Yeah.
You say no. Can you do this? Oh, sure. I know it's somebody I'll be calling and I'll say no. And by the time I get off the phone, my no turns into a yes. I'm like, well, how in the world did this happen? And so then I get over it and it's done. So the deadline passed. I already turned it in. And then it's like, oh, I feel relieved. And then I do it again. So you have to say no to overcommitment.
It makes you sick, Christian. You get sick from that.
Absolutely. I had so much. I had so much on my plate this one time.
Yes.
And my husband, with his sweet self, he was naming the stuff that I had on my plate. I said, don't do that. Don't do that, because I will go through anxiety, and I have deadlines for this stuff.
Yeah.
No, don't. I said, let's just change the subject. Let's just tell a joke. Let's say something funny, because I would have to literally calm myself down so I don't go crazy out of my mind, and I was getting afraid. I was actually getting afraid because he was naming all of this stuff, and this is dude in, and this. I said, please don't. Just don't. Stop, for real. Because I had to for real collect myself because of that.
Yeah.
And
then how about when you go to bed? Like sometimes it's like, I'm too overwhelmed. I'm just going to bed. And my thing was, I'll tackle it in the morning. Sometimes I'll just do that. I'll just go to bed. I'll tackle it in the morning, and then I have a fresh mind and everything. And so when I get up in the morning, I'll get it done.
Guess what?
I want to bed late tonight.
Guess what I had to do? Leave town. Yeah, you remember I had daddy to keep y'all. I said, honey, I could get like 2 weeks.
Break.
Because it was so many phone calls, and I was being overwhelmed. I think I had, all of y'all were gone. And he let me go. I went to the country for 2 weeks, but he called me. It's a week though. I think he's coming back home now. And I was working down there, watching on the watchboard, driving through supermarkets to church, but it was different.
Yeah.
It was different. Get the stuff out the garden. It was absolutely, and he let me, the Lord give me a good husband. I stayed that whole week, and he kept all of y'all. And I got back home. I drove myself back home from the country, and y'all had a party for me. And say, welcome home, Mom. It was a party y'all had. And I just felt so good. Sometimes you have to leave the area.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think we need to be realistic with what we can handle and what we can do. So if somebody asks you to do something, you don't just say, yeah, I can do it. You look at you look back at your calendar, you look at what you have to do before you accept, a task or, something from somebody. Be realistic and say, okay, well, this is going to take me this much time. And then you tell them, well, I can do it, but I'll need 2 days.
Yeah.
I'll do it, but I'll need, this amount of time, whatever. And 9 times out of 10, they may be like, okay, well, I'll get somebody else to do it.
Not me. But look, we are coming down to the wire, and we want to talk about how can these people, now we want to help our audience. How can we overcome procrastination?
Pray.
Talking about it the whole time, setting a plan, your goals, prioritizing, all of that.
Somebody read Proverbs 6:6-8 when it talks about the ant. Anybody have that?
You sluggard. Is that it?
Yeah.
Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provision in summer and gathers its food at harvest. Yeah. And so that's my thing. Overcome procrastination. Pray. Say, Lord, help me to get away. To throw away this procrastination spirit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because it's sometimes it's easy, to procrastinate. Well, a lot of times it's easy to procrastinate, but you have to realize that you face consequences when you procrastinate. That you don't want to face anymore. After that, So that's my way.
What about thinking about the reward? At the end,
don't procrastinate.
Think about the end game, the end of it. Now, if I procrastinate, then I'm not going to accomplish this, and this. And so that will help you too, especially if you really need something. You talk to yourself, be like, girl, you got to get this done. You got to paint this. You got to do it. You got to get this done. And you can talk to yourself into doing it and just keep telling yourself you're going to do it. That's how you overcome procrastination too. Make yourself do it.
Yes. Tell yourself over and over.
Once in a while, you can do things better at the last minute. Sometimes your juices don't flow. Sometimes
don't say it.
Sometimes my juices don't flow. Like I'm gonna write a poem, and I think about it, and it don't come to me until maybe 2 hours before I get out the house, and then the juices flow, and the rhymes start coming. Every time your juices don't flow.
Worst thing ever.
No.
Deadlines. Every last one of them. It's like that day, a few hours before it's due, or something. All of a sudden, the adrenaline goes, and all these ideas start coming, and I'm focused, and I get it done like that. I don't like that though.
I don't like it.
My thing is, when I go to the computer and I have like a week to do it, nothing comes to me at all.
Nothing comes.
Nothing comes until the final hour when the rush.
Why is that?
I don't know.
I remember when I had I was in college and I had a public speaking class. And let me tell you, we had our assignments like weeks ahead. And I worked at that time, I worked at a high school. And I could not figure out what to do at all, so my classes were Friday nights. So Friday morning, the idea came to me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I know what I can do tonight. I was gathering stuff at the high school and stuff. Do you know, I got to my class that night, didn't even have my introductory statement. I sat down at my seat, and before she called me, the statement came to me like that. I got up and I just gave it.
I don't understand.
And also a sermon, like you're going to speak, like the one was saying, you got stuff written down and typed. And when you go there, the Lord says something else. And you got it written down.
But
sometimes it happens.
I did my term paper the day it was due. Because nothing came to me. I would look at my stuff. I look at the day that my term paper was due, like 12 midnight. I did it that morning. That's when everything came. I got an A on it, but still, like, it drives me. It's like, how do you overcome that?
But some things you don't overcome. Some things you don't. That's the way your mind is wired sometimes.
Oh, that's bad. I don't like
it. Not all time. And sometimes people will get on you, but they know you're going to do it for free too.
Pray. Say,
Right.
Lord, take this away from me.
And here, no, right. Here's the last thing: avoiding distractions.
Huh. Avoiding distractions.
Mm.
How do you avoid distractions now?
Just don't look at them. Look away. Look the other direction.
Well, we talked about that, turning your phone off.
But sometimes it's a distraction is more interesting than what you really supposed to be doing.
Let me say,
Terrible.
now look, I'm on Facebook only like for this kind of stuff, right? But sometimes I go on Facebook to upload stuff. All of a sudden, all this stuff start coming down, and I got to tell myself, oh, Brent gave me 1 Corinthians 14:40. Everything should be fine in a fitting, should be fine done in a fitting and orderly way. Everything should be done in a fitting and orderly.
Easily and in order.
Absolutely.
And so
absolutely.
I'm on Facebook because I'm getting ready to upload something. All of a sudden, oh man, what are they doing? Oh, look at this video. Oh, look at this short. I mean, but the thing about it, guess what? It's motivational stuff. It might
Yes.
also be Amazon tips and stuff. I'm like, oh, look at this. I can get this from my refrigerator. But I'm just saying, or look how they cook this food. It's so much stuff out here in
Right,
social
right.
media, but some of them are good things, like a good prayer or something like that. You know, Mel's smiling because Mel could agree with me.
You know what I'm
It still could
thinking?
be- it still could be distractions,
It
you know,
can be.
even though
Yeah,
it's, it's good,
It's still
whatever. But you just have, like I said, the word for tonight is intentional.
Come on, Mel, with that. Come on with that. Absolutely.
Intentional. You have to
Yes.
be intentional.
Yes.
When you
do
say
now.
social media, they got your history. They know who you are.
Yeah,
And
that's
what
what
you
Tawana
like.
was saying. Yes.
Yeah.
And it
That's
pops right
right.
up.
That's exactly right. Yep. And then one thing Tish was telling me about was don't even open that stuff. You know, because if you open it one time, they're gonna keep sending you and keep sending you and keep sending you, and you don't open it. It's something. What do they call that? They call it something.
Algorithms, I think.
It's
You
something
open up that-
else that they call it because it grabs your attention. It's fake. It's fake, but it grabs your attention.
I don't know what happened to me.
You know, like when you open up your internet and they have like a tagline of something, you know, but then when you actually open it, that is not something traps.
You know
It's called
what?
something traps.
You are right.
And you open it, and that is not what it is about at all.
And then you keep on till you try to get to the end of it.
And
And
you
then
don't.
never get to the
Yes,
end of it.
you're right. You're absolutely right. I just
Yeah.
stopped reading. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going
Right.
to fall into these
That's
traps.
right.
You know. Yeah. So I just don't do it. I just don't even click on it. You know.
And
'cause
then
it's a
how they're
trap.
going to give you advice how to fix your health. And at the end, they probably want to sell you something.
That's
And
right.
you do this.
Watch this video.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what they do. Watch this video. And
Mhm.
it's so bad. It's so bad. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, you know? And it's And it's a time snatcher. You know, it takes your time away. And like I said, you fall down into that rabbit hole and you can't get out a lot of times, you know. But you gotta tell yourself, no, turn it off.
They don't come to conclusion. It's not worth
Yes.
it. Just want
And you know what else? Even like the ads, like the phone, the game ads, and you say, oh, that game looks interesting. You know, it looks interesting. I want to find out. I want to play that game. And when you download that game, it is not exactly what it says.
Nope.
I was like, are you
Nope.
kidding me? And now you're like stuck because I want to play this until it maybe it will open up to this. You know,
What?
It's
You
bad.
have to pay for that?
You don't. Absolutely not. I would not be paying for that foolishness.
So
But that's a time snatcher. Those games on your phone and the games on a computer, those are time snatchers.
We
Don't
have to help
get
our
stuck.
kids not to start off with that as babies.
Yes.
It's
so
habit forming. It's habit
Right.
forming. You become
But you know what it is? The adults get caught up into it. And so that's their children get caught up into it as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's horrible, horrible, horrible. So we didn't say that one. A video game. Those are time snatchers. Get off that video game.
Hey, grown men are doing it. Grown men.
Yes,
Yes,
people.
grown men.
Absolutely. I'm gonna say grown people, because not just men.
Oh, I thought it was mostly men doing that, playing games.
No, ma'am.
Absolutely not. It's
Nope.
grown people doing that.
I wanted to ask the audience, what's stealing your time today, and how can you refocus your time on what matters most?
Right.
What's stealing my time is this crazy. Took my picture down. I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
Well, what steals my time when I want to do my work and my computer goes down?
For us to answer.
And it's so easy. I didn't have my computer for a week because I didn't know what was going on.
Bad.
And my son just came and unplugged something and plugged it back in, and it was on. So maybe it was a purpose. I was on my computer a whole week.
So I just want to say thank y'all so much. We hope y'all enjoyed the show. Hey, Sharice. Hi.
Hi.
Tuning in. Thank y'all so much for joining our show, talking about time snatchers. Your time is very valuable. Your
time is money.
It's money. I was getting ready to say, time snatchers snatch your money away from you. Love you too.
Yes.
So thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we will see y'all next week.
Next week.
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah.
Love you guys.
Yes. Have a great night.
Thanks for watching.
Okay. Oh yeah, and happy Thanksgiving, because I think Thanksgiving is next Thursday.
Oh yeah. Happy
Wow.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And like the show and stuff.
And a couple of birthdays coming up.
Take care,
Yeah.
guys.